Okay, so let's get started. Thank you so much for joining. This is the Exploratory online seminar. Today, I'd like to introduce Exploratory version 9 new features. Let's get started. First, let me introduce myself. My name is Kan Nishida, CEO at Exploratory. We started Exploratory back in 2016 to democratize data science. And since then, we've been working to build Exploratory Desktop and Exploratory Server. We call it Data Science Collaborative Platform. And also, we've been providing the training and the seminar to share our knowledge and skills. So our vision is data-informed decision-making is essential for making the world better. And for that, we work every day under the mission of democratizing data science so that more people can use their own data to make better decisions. Okay, so when we say the data science, we usually start with questions, and then in order to answer the question, you want to access the data, and you want to do the data wrangling, which is basically transforming or cleaning up the data so that you can visualize or analyze. So you go through this circle until you find answers or some kind of insights that help you answer the questions. And once you find such insights and you want to communicate, and for us, data science is sort of like really this workflow. And then the Exploratory provides these 5 steps of data access, data wrangling, visualization, analytics, and then last not least, the communication, which is really a dashboard and note through the modern and simple UI. So today's topic is Exploratory version 9. And then when we released like end of last year, mid-December. And since then, we released a couple of patches. So just yesterday, we released version 9.3, which is the latest patch. And I think with this, version 9 gets really stable. So I think this is the best time for you to download and upgrade. So when we started working on version 9 back in last September, October timeframe, we set up this theme. One of the people we admire and respect highly is the person called Edward Deming. And some people know him as a father of PDCA framework. He came to Japan in 1950. At that time, Japan was still like under occupation of United States. But GHQ or United States brought him in to help Japanese manufacturers to improve their production quality. So he brought in some concept called statistical quality control. And then based on that, this idea, and the Japanese started working on making the products better by using the data and the statistics. And since then, now like when you think about the Japanese products made in Japan as sort of like a high quality product, but it all started from this man. So we have the huge respect for this man, but we took this quote and it slightly changed it to make it as a theme for version 9, which is without number, you're just another person with an opinion. Okay, so as you can imagine, this number is a kind of like a main thing for the version 9. Okay, so what's number? In Exploratory, if I open the Exploratory here, so this is actually some like a sales data. Each row is each order of whatever the products. And then like, you want to create, let's say, like a dashboard or something. Okay. So like, for example, like I have created a dashboard here. Let me just open that. Something like this, right? So like when you look at this dashboard, you have charts here and a map and a pivot table, but also at the top, there's a numbers. This is you can see as sort of like a KPI or metrics and whatever you call it. But in Exploratory, we call these numbers. So basically, you can create the numbers under the chart view. So you go here, and then you select the number from the second from the bottom, and then you get, let's say, like a total sales or total number of orders or so on. Okay, but the important thing here, though, is when you look at some numbers like this is a total of sales. you want to see like, hey, is this good or bad, right? So like, what does this really mean? So you need some kind of context. What that means is usually like when you have maybe sales in the last month and compared to last month, this is like a higher, let's say like $1,000 higher or 10% higher or something like that. Or maybe you might want to compare to the last year on the same month. And then you can say like, hey, like 20% up compared to a year before or something like that, right? So that's a very common thing when you want to show the KPI or metrics. So with version 9, we made that so easy to do it. Before you had to do the data wrangling to create that such calculations, but now you can actually do it under the chart view with a number. So let me show you how to do it. So I have this cell. So like I'm going to just duplicate and create another one. And then it's basically like I have selected the sales. So like right now, the same thing, we have the total of the sales numbers. From here, when you click on the menu, and then there is this difference/ratio. This is a new feature. And it will open this dialog. And here you can actually construct that sort of like a percent difference or difference from type of calculation. So what that means, under the calculation type, I have two options. Let's use a percent difference from for this one, because I want to calculate that how what's the percentage up or down compared to a year ago in terms of the sales numbers. Okay, so in order to do that, you need to have the date column, because otherwise there's nothing you can compare to in kind of a historic manner, right? So you want to say at this time, like I have an order date, so I'm going to select that. And this is right now the year, but I want to actually show the monthly revenue or monthly sales in this case. So I'm going to change that to months. And then what are you comparing to? There are a couple of options. You can compare against the, let's say like a max value or mean value, or I think the most common case usually either the previous value, this means the last month, or 1 year ago or 1 quarter ago or something like that. So I'm going to go with this period ago, and then select that. This one is like a year. So if I don't do anything here, that means year and the period size 1. That means 1 year ago, a preview. Okay, so here, like basically, like what we are seeing is compared to a year ago sales. So based on this number, this is like $107,000, and then now here is $149,223. So comparing based on this red color value, it's like a 107, we have almost like a 40% up, okay, increase of the sales. And that's what we have here. And that's, if I click OK, we got that. And then from here, we can actually do the formatting. So from the menu and format, we also like improve this dialog as well to have like to make it easy to do the color formatting. So from here, let's say like, you can use a condition to say like, hey, greater than 20%, or and it's make that red, blue, let's say a green color, less than like certain percentage threshold, and make it like red color kind of stuff. Or you want to use like a positive or negative. This is a super kind of like a simple thing. So literally like if it's like a positive increase, then green color, negative increase, meaning like a decrease with a red color. Okay, so if I click on the apply, and then right here you see 38.37% in a green color. Okay, and then like, I can just change that to name, title. So this one is percent change on sales. And then you see here, and as well as the tab name as well. Okay, and then like, I'm going to copy this one too, and then duplicate. And then this time I want to do the percent change. This is like a to last month or something. And then basically the same thing here. Like instead of starting from scratch, I already have it here. So I'm going to click on this type diff from period ago. And then all I need to do is change to the previous value. And then like if I click on preview, because right now the summarization or the aggregation is down the monthly. So comparing to the last value, previous value is like last month, and which is like 1.83% up. Okay, and click OK. So now that like I have created two numbers and I want to have those in a dashboard, right? So if I go back to the dashboard screen, and this is the edit mode, and then like I want to add those two at this like number rows. So all I need to do is just click on this number, and then select the one that I created, and then I'm going to select add one more, and then click on the run button, and then those numbers should show up here. Okay, so now like I have like 4 numbers or 4 KPI at the top, and then like 5, 3 charts in the middle, 1 map, and then 1 pivot table. Okay, and then from here though, another new feature with this version 9 I like to show you, which is this dashboard is now interactive. So that means if I can click on any part of the chart, so let's say like this chart, hey, here's the United States. I want to see what is going on with the United States orders or sales including these numbers. So I can click on this United States, and then all the charts gets updated. And then like I can see, okay, United States, like revenue is 43% up compared to last year, 11% up compared to last year. Okay, and then all these charts are showing for the United States data. And then now, like for example, say, you know what, like I want to actually see this consumer market. I want to focus on that. I can click on the consumer on the pie chart. And then now, like well, all we are looking at is a consumer market and then United States. The same thing with the numbers, same thing for these charts. Now, like not only the charts and map, yeah, you can click on this like a pivot table as well. So let's say like, hey, you know what, like I want to see the furniture or like even like subcategory. In this case, I'm going to just click on, you can click on any part. So like I'm going to click on the furniture, for example. And then like all the data we are looking at is the furniture and the United States and the consumer segment. Okay, so now with version 9, you don't have to set up anything. All you need to do is just, it's as you have done before, create a dashboard, bring in the charts and the numbers if you have, and then it start working as an interactive dashboard, meaning like this interactive filter start kicking in. Okay, so that is numbered as a new numbers difference calculation. That's a new feature. Another one is a dashboard interactive filter capability. Okay, so let's go to the next one. We've got more new features. So next one is, I'm going to close this dashboard, but then it's something about a note. I'm not sure like you have used Note in Exploratory, but a Note is a great way for like writing what you're finding with your data. Okay. So to do, I'm going to switch to another project. I don't know if you're familiar with it. Like I have been posting on the YouTube video over like something called This Week's Data. I pick up like some open data and bring in Exploratory, visualize it, and then see, understand the world better. And then I can share that comments with to the world. So that project is here. And inside, I have some data and stuff. Like I want to, create a note, right? So I can click on this one. But here's another one, actually, before going to note. Now, with version 9, you don't have to close the project to open another project. So that means right now, like I have this V9, version 9 introduction project. And then I can click on this week's data EN project. And this will open in another window. So you don't have to stop what you're doing with another project in order to work on another project. Okay, so here I have that bunch of data frames, and then like I want to create a node. Okay, but before that, like what kind of node I'm creating? Well, recently, like I have actually created a video on this one, but I found that like this United States government is paying crazy amount of interest based on their debt. So they have huge debt right now. The government has huge debt. And then because, as you know, like the central bank is increasing the interest rate, therefore their interest payment is skyrocketing. The detail, I'm not going to put the detail on that, but let's say like if we find something like this, Let me pull up the chart. I think that can show you even better. So this one is the chart that's showing, by the year, like based on the year, and then like I just give it that color. So for example, 2023 is red color and so on. So I found something from here, and I want to communicate this finding with others. So best way to do that is to create a node. So from here, click on the plus button and then select the node. And then like I'm going to say like a interest payment or something. And then I can create a new node. And then from here, before, but until version 8, you had to know the Markdown. With this version 9, you don't need to know Markdown. Like you can just write the node as if like you're just writing a Word document or Google Docs and so on. So what that means, let's say like I want to say this U.S. government interest payment is skyrocketing or something like that, right? So this is I want to make this one the title. Before, like you had to press like a pound sign or something like that. Now, all you need to do is select whatever the header type. So in this case, I'm going to select the header one, and then boom. And then now like I have the header one, and then like I can actually bring in the chart. So in order to do, like click on this plus button, select the chart, and then find the chart. In this case, I have this government interest payment data frame. So select that, and I'm going to select on this particular chart, and that bring in the chart right here. And the cool thing about this is before you had to click on the preview to see the chart, and this show up in that sort of like a node content. But now this is chart like embedded it where you are typing the text. So for example, maybe you might be typing something like this, right? So interest payment is now how much data? So like you want to bring in a mouse, right? And then like you can see, oh, okay, so it looks like $981 million. That's actually a lot, $91 million. Medium, and I'm going to add that dollar sign here. Dollars, or something like that. And then you can actually bring in another chart if you like. And at this point though, now cool thing is that like you can actually download this chart image as a PNG, or you can download the data in a CSV file format so that, like let's imagine like you have a bunch of charts, just keeping the note, and then like all, instead of like taking a screenshot or images because you want to create a keynote or presentation, PowerPoints or something like that, you can just do that all in the node. And also like you can click on this full screen mode to, maximize the chart. Sometimes it's hard to, see the chart. So like you can actually do that. So these types of things is all supported inside a node. Also, another thing is you can actually change the node chart size as well. Some of the chart, especially like the map, like you might want to like expand it to have the kind of bigger picture. You can do that as well. Okay. And then there's this kind of a button here to make sure like you select it, and then you can actually change the size back to normal. Okay. So now not just like a text and then the header and a chart, but also let's say, hey, this data is coming from Fred. And Fred is like a FRB, like American Central Bank hosted economic metrics sharing data site. So let's say like I want to actually link to this website and copy the link, and then go back to the exploratory node, and then this is the word I want to create a link for. Either you can click on this link hyperlink button, or Command K or Control K if you're Windows, to open this link dialog, and then copy and paste the URL, and then click on the enter key, and now you have this URL link here as well. There are other formatting options as well, and then also like if you have, let's say like YouTube video, you can import that as well. Another cool thing with this new note editor is that like you can add the table. This one before like you had to know like Markdown format. Now you don't. All you need to do is just you can start typing. Okay, this is like a date, and then this is like a symbol, and this is a value, and then I can start here. It's like a September 3, and then symbol is Apple, and value is 180. Creating a table becomes so much easier. And then also this table, you can click on this like a header, like a green area, click on that, and then it will show you some of the icons. So this one will help you when you, let's say, like click on this arrow icon to create more columns or create more rows as well. And then obviously you can click on that again to delete. So this table creation became such much easier as well. Okay, and then last not least, sometimes like I do this often is like I'm embedding an image, and that's also that's basically kind of like similar to what we used to have. So here, like for example, like if I have this images, I want to bring into the node. All you need to do is just copy and paste that, or just drag and drop, and then you get that image right away. Okay. And then you can, if this node is ready, you can click on this publish to share with others, or you can download in an HTML format, or you can export to the Word. It's basically those types of things that are as used to be. Okay, so that is a brand new node editor. Like what you see is what you get with Wig node editor. And I personally very excited with Node because I use Node all the time. So since with this new Node editor, my productivity increased a lot, as you can imagine. Okay, so I'm going to close this one, and then let's go to the next topic. So far we covered number, dashboard, and the multiple windows with the multiple projects, and a brand new Node editor. I want to go cover like one data wrangling here. So here I have this employment satisfaction survey data, and then like here's the data. So let's take a look at here, and you notice something. Well, column header here, the column name, and it looks like okay. So each question and then like each respondent give the score from 1 to 10. So it says scale of 10, and then when you scroll to the right, and there are like a sex information and age information as well. And it says here is like a single select or something like that. So it seems like this is for like kind of as part of the questionnaire when they did the survey. But for now, like if I want to use this data to analyze or like visualize or something, I don't really need this type of word scale of 10 or a single select as a part of the column names. So I want to get rid of them. Before, you can rename the column name by one. So for example, like here, change column name and type new name. This is what you had before in before version 9. And you go one by one. And then if it's only like a couple columns, that's fine. But when you start having like 5, 10, 20 columns, and that becomes a nightmare. So from this release, we added is like a text wrangling capability to the column name. So before, like when you have the text data and then like there is a work with text data, and for the values in the data, you can use all sorts of like operations like remove, replace, extract, and convert, and so on. But now we brought that functionality to the column name updates or rename. Okay, so that what that means, like I go here and then click on the column header, and then change column names, and then here's the type names. Instead, I want to do remove. How I want to remove that? I want to remove those names surrounded by this bracket. Okay, so I'm going to select the remove, and then what happened is here is like I'm going to select the operation type. I mean method, if you will. And then like I'm going to select this text inside of specified character. And then like all I need to do is like set like a beginning bracket and an ending bracket. And as you can see here, whatever the one is matching with this condition is highlighted at the board. Then I can click on the preview, and then I can see like how that is going to be after this operation. And it looks good. There's only one thing though at this point, like I see like there's some kind of space at the end of the column name. We're going to take care of that right after this. But for now, let's focus on getting rid of this like a bracket, scale over, single select, that kind of stuff. Okay, so I'm going to just click on run button. And that will change update all the column names as long as there are such conditions. Okay, and then now the next one is, you remember the space at the end of the column name? At this point, it doesn't look that much of a problem, but I want to make sure like no necessary space is removed. It's there. So from the column header menu, change column name, and then same thing, the remove. This time, I want to remove the space. There are a couple of options. If I do this space, what's going to happen is, as you can imagine, all the space is being removed. What I wanted to do is to remove the space only at the end, this space. So in that case, instead of selecting a space, you can do either extra space or leading and trailing spaces. Extra spaces actually remove the space at the beginning, at the end, and also double spaces. But also leading trailing spaces, only the leading and the at the end spaces. So either way works, but in this case, let's select the leading and the trailing spaces, and then click on the preview, and then the last space has been removed. So this now, like the column names kind of got simpler and clean. So I'm fine with that. So click run, and then the column name got much cleaner than before. Okay, so that's the one data wrangling. It's like a big kind of new addition. And another thing that is the last one is under analytics. Okay, so analytics, we had this chi-square test and we had a Bayesian A/B test, but it turned out like many of the exploratory users had sort of data has been aggregated for doing an A/B test, by evaluation. So what that means, let's start with A/B test. Just make sure like you might not be familiar with A/B test. A/B test is very simple. So like you have two versions of a website. Typically, like you want to say, hey, like our website, like we want to increase the conversion rate. And to do that, hey, let's make that button color something different. We have like a red color button, but maybe that's making people away. So why don't we change that color to blue? And sometimes people discuss forever, but especially like Silicon Valley type tech companies, they actually test it. Like let's say Google or Facebook or whatever, they just test it, right? So that means create another version of the website with the blue color button. And then like test, have like users come into the website randomly, like split the users to page A and page B. And then like wait for a couple of days or whatever enough until you get enough data. Then you compare between those two. And then let's say like page B has more conversion, then you can say maybe like version page B, blue button works better. Right. So then you can make decisions on like, okay, you know what, like we're going to change the color for the button for all the users or something like that. So in that case, typically though, before we used to have the data like, where's the good data here? Okay, here. There's the campaign data. And when you have the data, like each row is like each, let's say, customer ID or user ID or whatever, and then that user click the convert button and convert it or not. And then here's the campaign, meaning the campaign page. This is actually a campaign, but think of it like an A/B. So it says false. That means we are not showing. In this case, we are not showing campaign banner on the website. And if you see true, this should be true. So it's almost like the same amount of the data. If it's true, there is a campaign banner is shown. If it's false, campaign banner is not shown. And which version of the page will increase the conversion, right? So like that's the kind of thing we're testing. The problem of that is if you have the data like this, you go to the analytics and you use the chi-square or A/B, Bayesian A/B, and then do the evaluation. But more common than not, sometimes you might have the data like this. This one, there is no like a customer level information or user level information. Rather, it's like a daily information. So like let's say 2020 June 1st, you have only 2 rows. And one is for campaign false, and the other one is campaign true. And then number of the sessions, meaning like a number of the users. And then like out of which, how many people actually click the button or converted. Okay, so this is kind of common with something like a Google Analytics or that type of like a third-party analysis tools. So you get the data from them, and then there's no customer level data. So what are you going to do? So in this release with version 9, we did added to support for the pre-aggregated data like this. Okay, so in this case, if you want to do that analysis for day by day, then this data is good. But let's say like we started this experiment from June 1st and June 14th, and then we want to use all the data to evaluate which page is better. Okay, so to do that, like let's aggregate this data first, right? This is already aggregated but daily level, but I want to aggregate for this whole 14 days. To do, from the column header menu, go to summarize. And then right now we have the forest and two rows now. And instead of number of rows, I want to do aggregate the sessions. And also I want to aggregate the converted. So now we have two aggregations, right? So like a campaign force, we have like number of sessions, number of converted. Campaign two, the same thing. And at this point, I'm going to click run. And now like we have only 2 rows. And then the number of the session, number of the converted. And we are almost ready to go to analytics. But one thing you still need to do is we need to do the calculate conversion rate first. Okay, so to do from the column header menu, create calculation, standard. And all you need to do is to do that division. So here is the conversion divided by sessions, and that's the conversion rate. So I'm going to create that conversion rate. Okay, and then now you're ready to use either chi-square A/B test or Bayesian A/B test. Okay, so from type, go to the A/B test menu, and then let's start with the chi-square. So this one, the chi-square A/B test aggregated data. So that's that aggregated data is the part that has been introduced from version 9. Okay, and then also Bayesian A/B test. I'm going to quickly cover right after this. Okay, and then now like this I said group column, which is basically which column has the A/B information or true, false, or 2 versions of information. So in this case, the campaign and the conversion rate, we just calculated that, but there's no conversion rate column. Why? Because this pin button is still pinned to the first step. That means we haven't calculated that conversion rate at this point, right? So we want to move this pin button to the step 3. At this point, we have not only aggregated, but also we did a calculation of conversion rate. So we should see the conversion rate here. Here it goes. And the conversion rate. And then sample size is basically number of the data, right? A number of the rows in a way. And in this case, number of users. So click on that and click selection. And then this is like a whole thing. And then click on run button. Now we have the chi-square test result. And then, whatever the standard threshold you have, and then look at the p-value and you can decide there is a difference or not. Okay, and the same way, instead of using the chi-square, you might want to use Bayesian for whatever the reason. Then in that case, you can switch to the Bayesian A/B test bracket aggregated data. I recommend Bayesian A/B when you want to make a decision sort of like kind of real time instead of like waiting until you have enough data. Sometimes you don't get enough data, but at the same time, you need to make a decision earlier. So in that case, like Bayesian works in a more kind of intuitive way. But if you want to do more like just kind of like a robust way or standard way or whatever the your environment, work environment tell you, then you might need to do chi-square test. But anyway, I'm not going to go into the detail, but here is the guy switch to Bayesian A/B. Other one is basically the same group column, conversion rate, sample size same, and click run button. And then you get the result. And in this case, it's telling you that A version of the page is 99% of the chance it's better than B. And how much better compared to B? Well, it makes 8% better. And you can see these types of information in this chart as well. I'm preparing the note for describing like more detail. So please stay tuned on that as well. Okay, so that's the new addition under the analytics. And that's with that, that's pretty much it. And then, so this version 9, like I said at the beginning, the theme is without number. You're just another person with an opinion. So based on that, we improve the number so that you can create, difference or percent difference type of calculation within number. And then you can bring those in dashboard. But not only creating numbers, but you want to share the number with the team, or you want to monitor those numbers as a KPI. So we improve the dashboard as well, especially around interactivity. So now you can click on the part of the chart, map, pivot table to update the charts, but also these numbers as well. Another thing is like we introduce a new note editor. So like that is like, I would say like 10 times better in terms of the productivity. And also it's kind of like a funness of, writing that note as well. So it's more like a WYSIWYG, rich text editor that will help you create analysis report much better. And then also like we visited, the data wrangling, analytics, we improved some of the capabilities. And then last not least, now with version 9, you can open projects with multiple windows, meaning you can have one window for another one project, another window for another project. Okay. So the schedule is the Exploratory Desktop, and also we have the free version, Exploratory Public. Exploratory Public, you need to share the data on our server in a public manner. So like it's perfect or best for using open data, and you want to create, do some analysis or visualization, and you want to share with the world. That's perfect for that. If you're working with your companies or organization, the business data, I would recommend you use the Exploratory Desktop. If you're the students or teachers, learning or teaching data science or data, whatever at the school, then you can use this Exploratory Desktop with the academic license for free. Okay, so these are available today. So you go to our website, and then there's once you create an account, then you see this download button, and then go to the Exploratory Desktop. And then you can download this Exploratory Desktop 9.3. Okay, that's the latest version. And then also we have Exploratory Server. All the things you have seen with the interactive dashboard or a new rich text note editor, anything you do with the latest version, you can publish to the server, and it works. And all the work has been new features are supported at Exploratory Server. And Exploratory Server is where like you want to share your charts or data on a project, especially for like when you do the collaboration, and you can publish a projects as well. So these type of things are all supported with 9.3. Okay. However, we have two different variations to the Exploratory Server. So the one that we host is the exploratory.io. That's the most left-hand side, Exploratory Server shared. So which means you can publish privately in a secure manner, but the same instance is shared by others. So what that means is if you're scheduling something, like maybe like sometimes it gets a little bit delay if it's too much crowded or too busy. But you can use that, and then without extra cost, as long as you have the desktop, you can start. And then, but we have two other variations. One is at the center, the dedicated instance. We prepare the instance for you, and then we take care of the maintenance and also upgrade and so on. And but also this environment is just for you or your organization, your team. Okay, and that is called hosted Exploratory Server. Okay. And then you can, you don't need to have like IT folks or anything like that. You can start right away, and you don't have to deal with like some kind of like IT hustle kind of stuff. Okay. And then another one is the most right-hand side, which is like a on-prem. If you have your own server and your security is very tight, so you need to have everything in your firewall, and then you can install Exploratory Server on your server, and you can manage, you can maintain, but for yourself, it's all 100% under your control. Okay, so 3 different variations. And then all the pricing and more details you can see, go to our pricing page. That too is like you can go to our page, click on this pricing page, and then you scroll down, then you can see the exploratory server. And the difference among those variations by feature, you can see more details here as well. Okay. And that is the releasing date is like mid-February, meaning shared server is already version 9 certified, but hosted and also on-prem, we are still working on some of the additional features. So that's going to be released mid-February. So please go to our website, and if you have them, and under the download page, and then download Exploratory version 9 and upgrade. Upgrade is super simple. All you need to do is just download and then double click, and then the upgrade will Exploratory will take care of the upgrade. And then the cool thing is that whatever the note or dashboard you created before, just works with a newer version. Especially the note you happen to have created before with Markdown. Now with this new editor, it should show up correctly or perfectly. Okay, with that, I think that's it for today, and hope you are going to take advantage of new features with Exploratory and have great data analysis and visualization. All right. Thank you for joining, and I hope you have a great rest of the week.